Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 3 of Paris-Nice. It's the team time trial. This is the race of truth for all of the riders that are going for the general classification. The only difference, though, about today's race is every rider's time counts for themselves. So first place rider, if he comes across solo on his own, he doesn't need 1, 2, 3, or 4 teammates with him. He can finish by himself. That time will count. That means if you have a team like Lidl-Trek that only have one GC rider like Skelmos, they just have to get Skelmos to the line the fastest they possibly can. You go over to UAE Team Emirates, one of the big time favorites here with Brandon McNulty and Almeida. Those two riders have to get across the line more or less together because their times will count. But if Almeida finishes first or if Brandon McNulty finishes first, that time's going to count for them. So do you wait up for your teammates, your other GC teammates, or do you drive it to the line? If you go over to Visma-Lease bike where Jorgensen theoretically should have the race leader's jersey if Visma-Lease bike can put on a spectacular time trial, he should have the race leader's jersey over Jonas Vingegaard because he's already coming in with a 6-second advantage. But he doesn't need Jonas Vingegaard to finish on his wheel or any teammates. It's every rider's time counts here on stage 3 of the team time trial of Paris-Nice. So let's get into action. As we see Julian Alaphilippe and Michael Storer come across for two-door cycling, they got a time of 31:32 to put themselves in the hot seat. But we got Jayco AlUla out there on the course, and they're flying. And when they come through the first time check, they're up 29 seconds, and they got 6 riders right there wrapped up. Now they start coming into the climb, and this is where most of the teams are going to have the most issues of trying to get their teammates all the way up over this climb together, and a lot of these guys are riding one by. So if you're a big guy coming into this climb and you're drilling at full gas to try to get maximum time before the climb for your GC guy, you're not going to be able to hit 11% with one by and have fresh legs after that moment, so you're probably going to get dropped. So we start looking at Jayco AlUla as they're coming up to this one big obstacle in today's team time trial course, and this is when they start losing guys left and right because it's Michael Hepburn that's dropping off first. Then we're going to see Keelan O'Brien. He's going to look back. He's the next guy to drop off, but they're going over the top with Mario Schmid, and they're going over with Ben O'Connor and Michael Matthews. But Mario Schmid's going to start getting dropped with 1.3 kilometers to go. So these two riders got to come into this technical finishing section with the last 600 meters left, right, and twisties all the way into the finish with the last left-hand bend that's gonna go hard all the way into the finish. It's still got a little bend there. We see Michael Matthews flying through there. He's gonna drill it all the way to the line. They're gonna put themselves in the hot seat, 51 seconds up from the time of two-door cycling with a time of 30 minutes and 41 seconds. Okay, the next team out there on the course is Team Ineos. Ineos are going out there. They're driving like crazy. They come through the first time check 5 seconds back with 6 riders on their team. Once they start getting into the climb, we see Josh Tarling drop first. Bob Jungels is going to drop next. Then we're going to see Samuel Watson. He's going to drop after the climb with 1.5 kilometers to go. That means Tobias Foss with Magnus Sheffield, the American rider, and with our Ensman on his wheel, is driving it all the way to the line. Once we see Foss come across the line, well, he's got a little bit of gap on his GC guys there, our Ensman and Magnus Sheffield, but they'll come across the line second, 18 seconds back from Jayco AlUla. Okay, let's go back and start looking at the next riders out on the course, the next team that is. It's UAE Team Emirates, and they're leaving the ramp. They look fantastic. They got not one national champion, but they got 2 because they got Niels Palet. So they got the American champion and they got the German champion. Now, when you're doing a team time trial, and I've done a bunch of them throughout my career, and I've done 1 in the Giro, 1 in the Tour, well, at least 2 in the Tour that I can think of, maybe 3, but at least 2. And I did the Vuelta a España in 2013 when I won. It was a team time trial too. So I can tell you right now, if you got somebody that's wearing a different jersey or something different about them, it really helps in the rotation to pick out a different color. You don't need to have everybody wearing something different, but 1 or 2 guys wearing something different works really good. So right now with UAE Team Members taking off and you got a Stars and Stripes jersey or Brandon McNulty rotating through, that helps you count and lets you know that if you see Brandon, you're one guy before him. Maybe you're right after him. Maybe you're right in front of him. I don't know what it is, but if you see a jersey come by that's a little bit different, you know exactly where you have to start slotting in again. So once you take a monster pull and you're completely at the red, maxed out, you can't breathe at all, and you're dropping back 6 guys as they're going max speed. These guys are doing 65, 75K an hour out there. And as they're coming by you, you see the Stars and Stripes jersey, then you see the German jersey, you know to slot in really quick if you're behind Niels Palet. So there's advantages to having a couple different jerseys out there, but UAE Team Emirates are not necessarily putting on a show right now, as we see a Milano being the first rider to drop off. They'll come through the time check plus 11 seconds behind Jayco AlUla's time. Now they start coming into the climb, and this is when things start falling apart right now for UAE Team Emirates, as we see Niels Palet drop off. Now Pavel Sivakov has already dropped off. Now Niels Palet's dropping off, and then Ivo Oliveira's going into this right turn, the steep part of the climb. He drops off, and when he does, he blows up, guys. Blows up, has to come to a complete stop. That's what I'm talking about, 11% with one bike. Take a look at this one bike right here on Ivo Oliveira's bike. That's why he's got to come to a complete stop, because they don't have a small chainring. So up front, Brandon McNulty's driving it in the Stars and Stripes jersey. Just behind him's Almeida, and then Jonathan Narvaez is there. Once they kind of start caressing the top of the climb here, Almeida's going to take over. They got 3 riders in the front group. Now, as they're driving at 100% right now, they got about 4 kilometers to go. They start coming into the technical sections. They got a couple more turns to go. And we see right there that it's Almeida swinging hard. Let's back the film up just a hair. Almeida's coming down this straightaway with a little bit of a bump up to the finish, but he's on the left side and they're coming in a left turn. As he pulls hard right so he can make that left turn, once he pulls hard right, well, Jonathan Narvaez is coming up the inside there, and then Almeida dives back right. They clear each other's wheel, but this means right now that Jonathan Narvaez got to back off the gap just a little bit, and as he does, Almeida's got a little bit of a gap. Almeida's punching it all the way to the line. Brandon McNulty's coming around Jonathan Narvaez there, but when we see Almeida cross the line 27 seconds back, well, we look, Brandon McNulty and Jonathan Narvaez are going to lose 2 seconds on their Portuguese teammate up front. Okay, it's not a big no-no. You really can't wait. If you can back off a hair, maybe, but you got to get that time if you're Almeida, because you're the GC hopeful. So this is what I'm talking about in the early part. Everybody's time counts right now. So Almeida makes up a little time on his teammates, but of course, they lose 27 seconds to the time of Jayco AlUla. The next team out there is going to be Lidl-Trek. As Lidl-Trek leaves the ramp, we start seeing him come into the finish, and it's Mads Pedersen diving through the left turn, barely making it through the left as he runs wide over to the fencing there, and you see the feet there, the fencing. It's starting to come up quick. Mads Pedersen just avoids it, looks over left. He knows Skilmos has got to punch it all the way to the line, so Skilmos throws everything into it as he crosses the line, 15 seconds back from the time of Jayco AlUla in second place. Now, Skilmos did a great job of crossing the line. This is what I was talking about, though. If you're just riding one rider by yourself, is you just come across the line. You don't have to wait for Mads Pedersen. And when you got a big guy like Mads Pedersen throwing down all the way in after the last climb with 4 kilometers to go through the technical town and through all the lefts and rights turns, you know Mads Pedersen can get you through the turns. He took maximum risk on that last one, but Skilmos did a good job of keeping the gap at just 15 seconds. Now, the next team out there is going to be Visma-Lease bike. They're leaving the ramp. They got their whole squad out there, and they're looking brilliant. Once they come through the time check, 7 seconds fastest to put himself in the hot seat right now out on course with 14.1 kilometer to go. Visma-Lease bike's going like crazy, and then they lose Zingle, their sprinter. He comes off, first one there from Visma-Lease bike to drop off. They leave 6 riders in front. Then we start hitting the climb. Once they hit the climb, it's Eduardo Fini that comes off, and then Perstrand comes off second. After that, we see Bart Lemon, Jorgensen, my man Victor Campenaerts, and of course Jonas Vingegaard's there. They got 4 guys. They're going into about 1.5, maybe just a hair before, and we see Perstrand drop off. Once Perstrand drops off, it's my man Victor Campenaerts that's dropping off at 1.2 kilometers to go. As my man's dropping off, you know he's setting up for the 2 GC guys in front. Take a look at the American rider Jorgensen, the winner of last year's Paris-Nice. He's on the front right now from 1.1, 1.2 kilometers out, driving it with Jonas Vingegaard, 2-time Tour de France champion, sitting on his wheel. As they're coming into the technical sections, under 1 kilometer to go, Jorgensen's still on the front, of course, and then once they come into 500 meters, he's still on the front. Once they come into 400 meters, Jorgensen is punching it. He's been on the front for 700 meters right now. He comes out, he's still drilling it full sprint. He comes out of the last turn, drilling it all the way into the line to put themselves up 14 seconds and in first place over Jayco AlUla right now. Jorgensen had an amazing final 1.1, 1.2 kilometer today. with Jonas Vingegaard holding on for dear life through all the corners. Now they're in the hot seat, but we still got some more teams out there because Bora-Hansgrohe's out there. Now we start looking at Bora-Hansgrohe. They come through the time check 7 seconds behind the time of Visma-Lease bike. 7 seconds. Can they make that up? Visma-Lease bike's got to start getting excited right now, but Bora-Hansgrohe still throwing everything into it. Across the line, 24 seconds back from the time of Visma-Lease bike, but they have their GC guys, Vlasov and Lipovitz in this front group right here as they cross the line. So their GC guys made the split, no problem, but they lost 24 seconds to Visma-Lease bike. Now, we start looking at the last teams out there on the course. Can anyone out here really touch the time of Visma-Lease bike? Well, we start looking at some of the other teams leaving. Bahrain Victorious is out on the course. They got a few GC guys, but when they cross the line, they're more than 1 minute back in 11th spot. But they do have Lenny Martinez and Santiago Buitrago, their GC guys, that made the front group. But Jack Haig did not. So he's going to lose some more time on it. We start looking at another team out there, Astana. Now, take a look at Astana. They got all kinds of colors on their shoe covers. You don't want all kinds of colors. I know what the Director Sportif's thing is. You got different kind of colors for everyone, so you know which rider's who. You don't want all kinds of colors. It's too complicated seeing all those colors when you're down in the TT position going full gas. If you can go back to UAE Team Emirates where you just have 2 national championship jerseys in there, that's an ideal. If you want to change the shoe covers, it's fantastic. Have 1 or maybe 2 colors out there, but you start having this many colors, there's no way going 100% that your mind's going to start factoring in who's got a pink color, who's got a yellow color, who's got the blue color, who's got a faded blue cover, who's got a white blue covers. It's impossible to count that many colors with your head down as you're going full tilt. So I don't like the play here from Astana, changing all the shoe covers in different colors. They'll come across the line 1 minute, 2 seconds in 12th place. We look at the other team that's out there, TotalEnergies. Why do I want to spot out TotalEnergies? Well, these guys did everything wrong. I mean, it was catastrophically wrong. They come into the climb here going full gas in the climb as they're losing riders left and right. And then we look at Anthony Turgis. He's a sprinter, right? He's got sprinter results left, right, and center all over throughout his career. He hits his climb and he's going a full sprint. Look how he's blowing up everybody on their team. He's blowing it up, stretching it out, then he blows at the top, and his 4 teammates have to fight to kind of come back together, only to have them blow up as they go over the top. And once they cross the line, it's Jordan and Stefan Cross, only 2 riders salvaged after that climb. They got a time there of 1:13 and 13th position back. That was the wrong way to do it. Anthony Turgis, next time back it off just a hair. If you're hurting everyone so much you got them at the max, no one can go over the top of the climb. You blew up and you blew up all your teammates and cost you some time. Now there's one more team left out on the course there that I got to talk about because it's the race leader's jersey, Soudal Quick-Step, Tim Miller, that's leaving the ramp. Tim Miller does a solid job of staying with his teammates all the way until we get into that climb with 5 kilometers to go, 4.5 kilometers to go, and then Tim Miller blows up with most of his teammates. But as they cross the line 50 seconds back from the time their Visma-Lease bike know it's time to start celebrating. You see the whole crew up there having a good time. Now, where's most of the drama happening on today's race? It happens afterwards when you get the interviews. Because, of course, last year's winner, like I already told you, is the American rider Jorgensen. He's getting interviewed right away as the whole team's right there, and he's talking about how his boys did a good job. Not his boys, he said the boys. Excuse me. That's a big, important difference when you say the boys versus my boys. But he says the boys did a good job. He says they can go into a protective role now and start defending first and second place. Because Jorgensen's first and 6 seconds back. When we start looking at that rider, that's his teammate, Jonas Vingegaard, 2-time Tour de France champion. So Jorgensen doesn't say the whole team's going to race for him, but he says they can race defensively. We go over and we'll start looking at the interview there over at Jonas Vingegaard. Well, he's saying the same thing. The team raced great. Now they got guys on to defend the jersey and all that stuff. But neither rider is saying who the race leader is. And to my dismay, the journalist doesn't ask, which one of you guys is the leader? Which one of you is going to race for the other if you have to? Is this like a 23 Vuelta a España where Sepp Kuss was getting attacked by Jonas Vingegaard left and right along with Primoz Roglic? Or is this going to be a well-gelled, organized team? When we start looking down on general classification, the first guy that's not Visma-Lease bike that's a threat for the general classification has to be Ben O'Connor at 21 seconds. So Jorgensen has a little bit of a gap to Ben O'Connor of 21 seconds. But how would you play it when you come into these next mountain stages? Because tomorrow's a summit finish. So are we going to see attacking, defending the jersey by attacking the jersey? Are you going to win with offense or are you going to win with defense? And then if they start attacking, they get a gap on Jorgensen. Is Jonas Vingegaard just going to ride on the back wheel? when I won Tour of California way back in 2011. Well, there I had my teammates riding for me 100% all the way up the Mount Baldy climb, where I had Levi Leipheimer on the front. Levi rode on the front, I rode second wheel, we rode all the way in the finish. But never was I attacked by my teammates, even Levi Leipheimer. He knew he'd get the stage win, I knew I'd get the general classification. And so when we come in tomorrow's stage, the drama's building, right? I mean, if I take you into yesterday's interview with Jonas Vingegaard, he says, I'm not a selfish guy, and he'll ride for his teammates if it's the right scenario, more or less is his words. Not exactly like that, but he'll ride for a teammate as long as that's the correct scenario, more or less. So when we get into tomorrow's stage, it's going to be drama galore, because all I know right now from Jonas Vingegaard, since he's come into being the #2 ranked rider on the Butterfly Effect and Beyond the Coverage, is that he rides for himself. I saw it at the Vuelta a España in 2023. At the Tour de France, when we're talking about Primoz Roglic crashed and dislocated his shoulder, and then we go into one of the most spectacular days of racing ever, talking about stage 11 of the 22 Tour de France, where Primoz Roglic, Jonas Vingegaard attacked Tadej Pogačar. Primoz Roglic dropped off. Jonas Vingegaard went on to win Col de Granon and then went on to take his first Tour de France. But then later, Primoz Roglic got kicked off the Tour de France for the following year. So I haven't seen any massive teamwork from Jonas Vingegaard. Tomorrow's going to be a drama day for sure. So wake up early, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys for stage 4 at Paris-Nice real soon.